Anima Confusa. David, I rewatched season 2 and I always feel bad for you hanging upside down in Runner.
So do
I. In all 5 seasons, what do you think were some of the more challenging scenes physically to film?
That was one that stood out for a couple of reasons. One was poor Rainbow was sort of getting pushed out at that point and struggling. It was really struggling. And in that scene, he had some dialogue that he was struggling to remember. And I was upside down, slowly losing consciousness because I was hanging upside down. So, and I'm fat and old and don't want to be hanging upside down before lunch. So I think I said something like, just shut up, move your freaking mouth when I stop talking. I'll do my lines, I'll do your lines. And then, so basically I just said each one of my lines in a row and then said, get me out of this fucking tree. Like total full on, I went full McKay. Because it was miserable. And those hazmat suits, they don't breathe. You're sweaty.
No, you're sweaty. It's probably dripping all up your face.
I was hungry, which is never good. It's never good.
Blood sugar.
Someone should have come up and just given me a Snickers bar or something. Anyways, and then as I do that, I look in and I see in the bushes, literally in the bushes, standing in nature somewhere, there's Jason. And he sort of he was like, oh man, because he hears the yelling. And then we make eye contact and he goes, and he pulls out his side and starts looking at them. And I heard him telling a story later on one of these conventions. And he said, yeah, I don't want the fat man yelling at me. I needed to know my lines. So, it was, that stood out as a particularly painful moment. And I think they were difficult circumstances in general. One of the other hardest ones for me was the whole Rodney stuff. That was
with the tennis ball.
Crazy hard because you're talking either talking to a tennis ball or to a stand-in who had been told that they could basically read the lines. Mm-hmm. And that was one of those I told you so's where I was like, guys, you've got to get like an actor who can really pick up these lines, right? And so I was so tense. Because you're doing 2 roles, so you got twice as many lines to do. You're grumpy.
And you're already handling at least 50% of the dialogue anyway. Let's be fair.
I was feeling very hard done by. But the reality is, I think it's a bit like, not at all. In my mind, people laugh when I say this. In my mind, I feel it's a bit like extreme climbing or something. I feel like, I want to see how far I go before I break. Like, how many lines can I have to say? How many roles do you play at the same time? I loved, Orphan Black because I was like, oh my God, what a dream, and what a nightmare at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, if you can make it through that, mm-hmm. You've got the goods.
Colin Cunningham and I just had this conversation not an hour ago, where if you're not testing your mettle to determine the limits of your experience, what are you doing?
I think you become a soap actor. I mean, like you become a metahuman. You're not quite. You become an uncanny valley. I think
you're just dancing through life.
Yeah, I think it's definitely. It was a great saying that you're supposed to do something that scares you every day. And luckily, everything scares me, so it's not. I don't just play a coward on television. I'm very good at it in life as well.
In any of your peers that I have spoken with, the only even suggestion of a negative comment has been around this type of a situation, and you get the impression from them that they're in such awe of your ability to digest the information and spit it out on cue that they're like, you know what? He's saying most of the dialogue anyway. Let's give him it. So people would laugh because my son laughs at me because when I blow hard when I go, I am like, and it's sort of amusing. Some people find it scary, I guess, but I've definitely now got to a point in my life where I am dealing with that now, where I'm trying not to go there because no one feels good in those situations. No one wants to be screamed at. No one wants to scream. I always felt guilty. I was constantly apologizing to people if I got grumpy about stuff. Mm-hmm.
weirdly enough, food was a big thing.
It's a blood sugar thing. I mean, how often,
absolutely.
I mean, everyone who's within the sound of my voice, I'm sure, has been in a situation where they have expectation of food, they go to store or they go to restaurant, and store does not have your item, or restaurant is closed. What reaction do you immediately have?
Yeah, the panic sets in and you're hangry. Yeah,
that's exactly right, you know? So
that was a big part of it. And also, I'm incredibly tough on myself. Like I really don't want to screw things up. I hate it when I say a line wrong. You know, Tropper came up to me, Jonathan Tropper from C, brilliant guy who writes all the new C stuff. And he came up and said, yeah, look, I'm fine with all of your paraphrasing, but if we could just get this line to say that. And I was like, paraphrase, what are you talking about? I said, I'm freaking word perfect. He's like, you're so not word perfect. And I was like, dude, when I went off and I was like, I came back and I was like, there, how is that? He goes, yeah, mostly. But it's, I loved him. I got to say, it was, one of the few showrunners that it was actually I would prefer to have him on set than not. Wow. Normally it's like the showrunners are great to talk to in their environment, and then it's
see you guys. Yeah.
Then otherwise you just feel like you're being judged on set all the time.
That's fair.
He was just the most wonderful, amazing guy.
Linda Alexander, what was it like being back with Jason and Joe again on C?
Oh my God.
Can you talk about it now?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I mean, Jason and I had an altercation, a really nasty argument at a convention actually in Australia, and I'd sort of come in last minute to fill in, I think for Joe actually. So not only was he disappointed that his friend hadn't shown up, I showed up and he was very, very angry about some stuff that had happened on Debug that was unbeknownst to me, and that was
the film you directed, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The film that shall not be. Please don't watch it.
Okay.
I know I shouldn't say that. I mean that there's, it was a learning experience. It was something that I'm very glad is behind me, but it was a very, very frustrating experience for many, many reasons.
Thanks for watching this clip from Dial the Gate. You can find the full live stream shows on our YouTube channel or visit dialthegate.com for the complete schedule. See you on the other side.